Lionel Nelson here, and welcome to A Father's Note, promoting fathers through building men. It's so important that we always stand up for our fathers. We want you to know we're with you. We're standing behind you 110%. Hello, everyone, and welcome to A Father's Note. I am your host, Lionel Nelson. As always, we're glad that you took the time out to stop by and to see us. Well, on tonight, our guest tonight is a group of four gentlemen who in their own right have their own podcast that is entitled Four Feathers. They are located in the Tampa Bay area and of sunny South Florida. Okay, and of course, they're neighbors, and it's the home of the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, and we just go ahead and give a shout out to them and congratulating them on their Super Bowl win. But nevertheless, it's going to be coming home here to Miami soon. I'm going to speak that. I have no doubt that that's what's going to happen. But anyway, what I want to do as we proceed further into this broadcast, I want to play a clip from one of their podcasts, and where they all share their thoughts on why they are a part of the podcast entitled Four Fellas. Okay. And it's kind of like to give you a good idea of who they're about. We want you to hear from them. Of course, we'll go further into it, but I want to play this clip for you. Okay. So take a listen.
Fellas, individually, respectfully, kind of introduce yourself and explain why this podcast, Four Fellas, is important to you.
Who want to go first?
I mean, to me, I'm personally, I think it was important to me because I wanted to have a platform, not only for myself, but for other men to be able to just come together and relate. I mean, as men, we don't talk about much. We don't really vibe too much. My business is my business, and we got to get past that. We got to get to a place where we can have a unit where we can come together and everything can just be on the table, and it ain't gonna be no judging. It ain't gonna be nothing. It's just we just talking to my brothers. So if that can start here and go out there, that's a plus for me.
Yep. I mean, on that, same thing for myself is we needed a place, and not dissing anybody, but women have plenty of platforms to get on there, how they feel, big, their sisters' voices, and they're praising each other, they're helping each other. We as men tend to knock each other down a lot. Because you do that, you a punk. Don't cry in public. That's punkish behavior. But we need to let go. We need to learn how to let go. We need to become in touch with our emotions. We need to become in touch with one another. And this is a platform where I feel it can be accomplished. Not just, we need that spiritual, physical, and emotional outlet for all of us.
I think for me, it was more so trying to get something to reach the youth. I think you can say, be a man, be a man, be a man, but that's so cliche, and who really even knows what that means? So I hope with this, it gives anyone listening, but especially, young men and even women, insight on men's mental, the opportunity to really understand what that is, to deal with situations, to try to catch them before they get out and get jaded into the world or anything like that. So that's why it was important to me.
Yeah. All of you have touched on points that definitely was why I wanted to make sure we push this. And the main concern for me is the fact that I don't think people listen to us enough. And I've experienced so much in life based on, not because I wear a title as a leader in the church, but more so because I'm a man first, before the leadership, before the position with music, before the position with husband or father. I'm a man first. And there's a lot of times that things that a man feels and thinks just bounces off the wall. And a lot of times it's like, when do we stop and actually acknowledge the fact that there's a man in the room who God gave, knowledge, experience, power, wisdom, to settle a lot of the differences. And I don't think people listen anymore. When men are talking, it's just like, yeah, that's cute. You said that. Okay, cool. But let's move on to the next thing. And I think I actually wanted to be a part of something where a man's voice could be replayed and rewind. And what did he just say? What was that? Did he really say that? Did they really just discuss that? Because through this podcast, we've talked about having difficult conversations, the conversations that most people don't want us to have, and exploit the knowledge that four guys going to come together and actually talk about certain topics that gets overlooked daily. And I think that we have so many similarities in common when it comes down to dealing with child support, when it comes to dealing with marriage and relationship, when it comes down to dealing with religion and what works with religion and what doesn't work. And religion, is more about relationship than it is about being right or wrong.
Right.
Well,
you said something where.
Well, we hope that you've gotten a good idea of what they're about. Okay. And so without any further ado, I want to welcome to a Father's Note show, Mr. Aaron Gibbons and Mr. Wallace Smith and Mr. Kevin Grant. And there's one other gentleman. He was unfortunately, he was unable to be in attendance on our show tonight, and that's Mr. Quentin Rouse. And just to give you guys a little background of these gentlemen here, okay? So Mr. Aaron, just give you a little, y'all know who he is, Mr. Music, the one with the fedora on his head there, yeah. So he's 41 years of age. Now, this face now, of course, may be familiar to a lot of you because, yes, he is a frequent visitor on our channel here. But yet, nevertheless, okay, he is a business owner. All right, not one business, but two business entitled Fat Boy Moving and Delivery, and also Fat Boy Entertainment. Okay, and so we're gonna give him a plug. He's a very good brother. He's married, but he's separated right now. So we're gonna just pray that God just do some healing or whatever there. He has one child, and his parents are Willie Gibbons, and his mother is Mother Sally Rush, who unfortunately is deceased right now, and he's one of four siblings. No, he has four siblings, and his hobbies are music and traveling. All right, and Mr. Kevin Grant, yes, sir. Okay, so he's 37. He's a forklift operator with two children. And his parents' name are Calvin. He's the son of Calvin and Dorothy Grant. He has a younger brother, and he loved watching documentaries, writing, listening to all types of music. Awesome. Then we have Mr. Wallace Smith. He's a warehouse manager. Do you have children?
Yes, sir, I do.
Okay. You have how many? Because I didn't get that note. How many children you have?
3.
You have 3 children. Okay. Yeah. And you're the youngest of 10.
Yes, I am.
Wow. Okay. And you love cooking, old school music, and writing. What's some of your old school music you like?
The Manhattans, the Ebonies.
Oh, you going back now.
Yeah, it's a lot. It's a lot.
All right. And back to you, Mr. Grant. You say you like watching documentaries, such as?
Oh, I just watched the 13th Amendment.
Okay. Yeah, I saw that too.
Anything knowledgeable, I'm on it, man.
Right. That's good. Yeah, knowledge is good. And then also Mr. Quentin Rouse, who's not here. He's 45, a security officer. He has 3 kids, a younger sister, and he loves drawing, music, swimming, gaming, and also documentaries and comedy. So again, we welcome you, gentlemen, and thank you again for being a part of our channel here, and also my audience and I we welcome you. So let's get right into the sauce. And let me just take a pause. Let me just welcome all the Facebook listeners, those of you who are watching on Facebook, our Facebook Live. Thank you. Feel free to do call and comment, leave your comments. And if you have a question, put it in the comment, and we'll definitely see about if you have a question for these gentlemen, put it in the comment. We'll definitely pass it on to them. But when I was listening to your podcast, and I was just listening to your thoughts that you were sharing as to why you want to be a part of For Fellas. And I just wanted to throw out some things that stuck out to me. And you mentioned that you wanted to do it because you wanted to have a platform where men can come together and have the difficult conversations about subjects men struggle with, to have a place where men can communicate without judgment. We definitely need that. I heard to learn how to not knock other men down. And that's a good one there. To establish something that will reach the youth, in which we definitely want to talk about tonight, to undo the cliche of telling a boy. I thought this was very good. I think this was Mr. Smith said this here. He said to undo the cliche of telling a boy to be a man without explaining what that really is. I thought that was very good. And also having a platform that will share insight with women on men's mental being. And when I think about that, I thought about, sometimes they don't quite understand it. Who we are and what we are and that kind of stuff anyway. They might have an idea, but not really knowing. And I think that the downfall to a lot of that is really, communication. But however, there was one phrase that really caught my attention. And that's when Mr. Aaron, my brother here, he said that I am a man first. And what resonated in my mind when I heard that was that, yes, I'm a son. Yes, a brother, an uncle, a husband, a father, a leader, an entrepreneur, or whatever capacity that the world may see me in. But don't forget the fact that I'm a man, and that I am a man first before all of these other titles that may be labeled upon me, or that I may be labeled with. So since you made that statement, though, Mr. Gibbons, I would like for you to respond whether or not my assessment of that is correct or not. I can't hear you. You need to unmute.
Uh-oh.
We done lost you. Okay. Yeah, don't hear you.
No.
All right. What, Mr. Smith, would you like to elaborate on that? Why Mr. Aaron? Go ahead,
I love
sir.
when Aaron said that. Believe it or not, when he originally said it, one of my most favorite movies is Malcolm X.
Okay.
And that's
Wow.
what the father is yelling out when the Klan comes. He yells it out 3 times. He says, "I'm a man." So when Aaron said that, that's what it took me back to, because that's one movie I could just walk on and act in that. I got all the lines. I don't need the script. It's just one of my favorite movies. So that I was very much appreciative that he said that. I love my father so much. I assumed I was Wallace Smith Jr. first. Aaron helped me remember that I was just a man first.
All right. That's good. What about you, Mr. Grant? Did you
I mean, it was very important,
Uh-huh.
I mean, just because being a man first is something we all got to stand for.
Right. You with us there, Miss Aaron? No audio.
No, what is
no
happening?
audio? Oh my God! Really, man? Come on.
He had it. I'm not sure what.
I don't know what happened there.
We're gonna get it back.
Yeah, we're gonna get it back because I definitely don't have you muted over here. What? Oh man, unfortunately. Yeah. Okay. Well, anyway, let's see if we can keep. Let's see. Is you there? No. Okay. Well, so when I heard that, this is what I penned out of that statement, that every man that is conceived and born into this world is told that he is a boy first. Why? Why is that? Why is he told that he is a boy first? When in actuality, he is a man at birth, whose manhood must be developed through the cares of life. In essence, when we come into this world, that's who we are. We are a man, but yet still we treat that baby. And I think that the question is, and I will pose to you, do you feel that we're waiting too late to tell our young boys, even whether or not they're 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, that they are a man, but they're going through that development of coming into their manhood, or understanding their manhood, or understanding their role in life, or in what their position is in life, in this world today?
That is one of the most impactful statements I think I've ever heard, and I think we as a people know that because we call our boys little man. So we're already
Right.
acknowledging it. We're already acknowledging that he's a little man. But you're 100% right. That's such a mind-blowing statement to me, because he's got that from birth.
That's who he is.
We're letting him get the experience. Oh, you know what? I'll answer it like this.
Okay.
My dad told me the difference between the smart man and the wise man's son is that the wise man applies what he's learned.
Wow.
So you can be smart all day. So at our youth, we are just smart. We are not wise.
Wow.
So I'll answer it like that.
Oh man, that's deep.
That's good stuff. That's good stuff.
That's deep. Glad you got audio back. I see you back with us, Mr.
Hey,
Aaron.
listen, I don't know what was going on with that. I do apologize.
That's okay. That's okay. Things happen, but we're gonna make this happen. So go ahead and give us a response on that, bro.
Well, my response to the whole being a man first is that, especially where we are now, we can't go back, and deal with a lot of things, but where we are now is that a lot of times people put your position, your title, your success, where you've graduated from, what you've accomplished, your milestones, they put that before the fact that you are a man. And what I mean by that being is that men have things that they need to go through, to get everything done. And society oftentimes wants to let us know that the positions that we hold should be more important than our manhood, because sometimes being a man means making difficult decisions that everybody's not going to agree with. Sometimes being a man first means being able to look your son, your daughter, or in the eyes, and you got to discipline them and love them beyond what normal capacity really is. So if you don't realize that you are a man first, and God ordained you to make these decisions, to make these choices that's going to affect everything and everyone around you, sometimes being a man first gets watered down, because they forget the fact that, hey, listen, you hold this position, you hold that position. Yes, I do hold a position, or I do have this success. Even as a business owner, my business is the hours that I'm in my business. Those are my business hours. That's when I'm an owner. When I go home, I'm a father.
Right.
And the fact that I'm a father, I can't run my home as I run my business, because everything with the business has to be handled with different level of capacity. You know what I'm saying? So being that we are a man first, and I just think that in today's society, we forget that men have to be men. And because a lot of men are being told what to say, when to say it, how to say it, and that's how they're moving.
So what do you say though, because you mentioned about what's happening in society right now, and to be honest, what I had previously mentioned to you guys before is because what we see happening right now is that they want to have a dumb down of the man and his role, his position. Okay, again, it's a possibility. It's gotten to the point where it's that they only see us just, as you say, based on the title of or the role in which that we play, but they forget the main and the most important role that we are men who were created after God's image. So you can't undo that. You can say whatever you want to say. Like I mentioned to you about the binary comments, now they don't no longer want the pronouns. They want to change the pronouns. You can't say police man no more. You have to say police a woman. You can't say you have to say police person, or how it goes, and which I think is nonsense. But they wonder why we have the chaos in America. Why are they allowing? I'm just talking now because when I'm done, y'all can jump in. Why are they allowing boys to talk about they feel like a girl? When I was coming, that was unheard of. That was totally unheard of. What do you all guys have to say to that? Go ahead, Mr.
Oh, go ahead.
Bro.
I was laughing.
Go ahead.
I was laughing at Aaron was thinking what I was thinking. Like, how deep do I really want to
Right.
jump into this? But I
no, we got to have. No, let me talk. No, we got to have the conversation.
Yeah.
We got to have the conversation about it.
Yeah.
Because, and I'm sure that a lot of us, and maybe the four of us even here, along with Mr. Quentin, who's not here, we are all thinking the same way, just like a lot of other people, but nobody is not saying anything. Not that many people are saying anything about it. But let me say this here, though. They got a platform to promote what they believe. So here it is. Here's a platform. I have a platform. You all have a platform to promote what we believe. And I'm going to be the first to say it. And I really don't care who like it or don't like it. But because at the end of the day, it's based on truth and fact. Okay, you can't undo your DNA. You can't undo who God created you to be. I don't care how you look at it or what you want to call yourself. So go ahead on, Mr. Smith. Respond to that.
I will say this. I don't have any issue with anyone. And again, as far as we are from perfection and the Adam and Eve days, there's so many things that we're imperfect at as human beings. But I will say this. I can't take us all in my truck and go to the Mercedes dealership and ask for the keys because we all identify as millionaires. See, I can't do that.
Mm-hmm.
They're not going to give us the keys because we feel in our heart of hearts we identify as millionaires. They're not going to do that.
Good stuff.
You know, that's just it. I can feel like that all day.
Wow. But you got to have the facts to back it up, though.
But I'm going to have to show some statements to back that up before they give me that car. And what makes this different is I believe, and I just grew up with a very spiritual father. So my standpoint is always going to come from that. But I think we were looking for last days, looking for more major events. But I truly believe they're more micro things, because if I can get the man out of the house, then I remove the logic. And if I remove the logic, then I get you to react on emotions. And if I get you to react on emotions, then I can get you to do anything.
Come on.
And that's, I really believe that's just being systematically done. I truly believe that.
Mr. Aaron?
Man, he said a mouthful. But just to coerce with what he's saying is sensitivity and perspectives.
Okay.
The sensitivity of what we have, what we're dealing with in society. People, as you said, they want you not to say policeman, because now the society factor and the world systems want to make everybody equals. As much as we're equals in God's eyes, there still is a little bit of separation. And if you go back to how it is, God designed Adam, and he said, let me create him a help meet. He didn't say, let me create him a equal meet. Let me create him somebody who was going to be exactly like him, do exactly what he does. No, he said, let me create him a help meet. So, but because society has created this dominant factor that, and listen, I know that men have not always held up their end. So therefore, a lot of women had no choice but to be mama, daddy. They had to be a mechanic. They had to be the plumber. They had to be everything. But you have, and this is where I have a problem with that, is because when you know for a fact that you have a man next to you, you don't have to be the dominant one anymore. You got to know how to not be dominant, but still be dominant. And the reason why I say that is because I had a dominant mama and a dominant grandma that were both married, and they knew how to be dominant but still be women.
Well,
So,
what we've come to learn, it's not about. This is okay.
Correct,
So let me put this. It's not about them being dominant. It's about them being a woman of strength versus being a strong woman.
And you had that on another show, which was great. So for those of you who watch it, go back and watch that show so you can get that information, because it was great. And shout out to Lady Nelson, love you, sis. Hey, what's up? You know, but what I'm saying is this: is the sensitivity is that because they want everybody to be equals. They want everybody to be on the same level. They want, the same pay scale, the same this, the same that. But what they're doing is watering down. So if somebody says, oh, well, he called me this or she called me that, or he said this or he said that, now they have to make this person, before there's a lawsuit, before there's a discrimination and this, that, and the third, now they say, okay, well, now you just can't say this. Look in this case in point. The Redskins had to change their whole football name because somebody wanted to, make a situation about, oh, that's racism. Let's deal with the black and white of this fact. If racism is racism, a name or something of that nature does not change and make you look at the football team and say, oh, that was the discriminatory towards that. Not saying nothing against the Indians. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is we've become too sensitive. Certain things, that football team has been around for years. Men and women have been around for years. And men are going to be men, women are going to be women. We have to learn to work together to build this country and put love back where it belongs. Yes, God. I'm going to be quiet.
Come on, Mr. Grant. You got something you want to add?
I mean, I think they pretty much summed it up, but I mean, I think sensitivity has just gotten too accepted nowadays. I mean, I come from an era where crying and all this, I don't want to say the wrong word, but it's just a lot of sensitivity going on, and it's being accepted, and as far as men that came before us, I don't think they knew the toll. I don't think they knew what it took themselves to be a man. So you can't direct someone when you lost yourself. I got most of my inspiration from being a man by trial and error. Right.
So now it seems like you want to take me down a different route there now. But my question is, based on what you just got through saying, what you just finished saying about you had to learn what it took to be a man, you had to learn that on your own. Are you saying that your father was not in your life?
My father, with all due respect to him, he was like an ornament on a Christmas tree. He was there. And he was one of those men that gave me what he had. Okay. But that doesn't mean that it was enough.
Okay, but he was engaged in your life.
Definitely. He was there. He was home every night.
Okay. All right. But you feel that what he gave you was not enough. But so my question is,
it took me.
Oh, go ahead. No, you getting ready to say, you go ahead, go with your answer.
Yeah, no, it took me as a man to get there and understand myself, what he went through, and understand that sometimes, even though that's my mother, she's a woman. She was still wrong sometimes, Right. And just it's hard, man, being a man. Oh, no. So I patched that gap with him that I understand.
Right. Well, let me tell you what I got to say to that though. If he was there and you had a relationship with him, and as you stated, he gave you all that he had, and whether or not how I look at it, and this is what I would say to that, even we might not feel that it was enough what he gave us, but he gave us all he had, and it may have been enough based on where we were at the time. Now, of course, even when and to your point, my father, there's a lot of things that my father was always there as well. Okay. He was always engaged. I cannot say that we had the best of relationship, but in hindsight though, I thank God for him being there anyway, because one thing that he did not do, he did not ever abandon his children. So even in the difference of odds that we had between ourselves, though, one of the things that I learned, I can say that one thing I don't do, I won't abandon my children. I got that from him. Now, there were some other things that, based on what you're saying, that I had to learn on my own, but that's life. That is life at the end of the day. That is life. But getting back, though, even with that, though, it's no doubt that they want to take man out of the equation, period, when it comes down to families. And especially, and I'm not about, and I want to go on record and say this here. Now, I don't believe in racism. And I want to be clear on that, why I say that I don't believe in racism. And one of the reasons why we cannot, the reason that we keep using the word, number one, I'm going to say it this way, it's a made up word. It is a word that is created because there is no such thing as that. When at the end of the day, it's all about what's in a person's heart. depends on how they treat another person. Now, I know if y'all understand where I'm coming from that, because when I look in the Bible and from what I know, every time there's only the word race is only mentioned 4 times in the Bible. And every time that it's mentioned is about running, never about the color of a person's skin or what have you. We're human beings first. And it's all about whether or not we have that love, that care, that compassion that we should have for someone else. Now, I've seen it where you've had parents, teach hate. That's what I'm going to call it, to their children. They teach their children, whether or not white or black, to hate. If they're white, they teach them to hate black people. If they're black, they teach them to hate white people. This is something that is taught. And we got to change that. We have to change that. We got to have the love that we need to have for one another. But anyway, at getting back to my point, I think I went down a bunny trail.
That was a great point, though.
That was a great
point, though. I definitely took a lot from that.
Mm-hmm.
We got to stop. It has nothing. That's why we can't do away with it. Because again, when you really look at it, and let's say the madness behind that is to cause separation. Wait a minute. Why do we have to? Just because you black, I'm over here. Just because you white, you over there. You Hispanic, you over there. You Mexican. No. My nationality has nothing to do with who I am as a person, who I am as a man.
Right.
Okay. It doesn't matter. It really doesn't matter. That's why if they have me to fill out applications and things, and then when they get to what race I am, and whether or not I'm black, Asian, white, or what have you, I cross all that out and I write in the word human. I am a part of the human race.
Wow.
I'm not a part of the black race, the white race. No, I'm a part of the human race. And we got to get along at the end of the day. Okay. But we cannot allow, though, what's happening. We cannot continue to allow what is happening. And this is why I'm glad that I'm not by myself in this here, especially as men, that we're going to continue to speak the truth as far as, no, we men are here, and I am a man first. I am a man first. Mr. Eric.
Yes, sir.
What you got to say on that, man?
When it comes down to the racism, and I feel like this is probably one of the difficultest topics to deal with, especially when it comes from the ministerial standpoint. A lot of people don't like to talk about what's the real with that. When just like you said, it's a taught behavior. It's a taught behavior. But my thing is, what are we teaching to counteract that behavior?
Oh, that's a great point.
What are we teaching to counteract that? If we never start teaching something to counteract that, because it says love can hide a multitude of faults.
Right.
So if I'm teaching you to love despite how you act, if I'm teaching you how to love, this is why I love being in leadership how I am, because I want to teach. I don't want to get to the pulpit and just preach. I want to be able to have seminars where we're changing perspectives of how our people live. Because if we can do that on a regular, then we start having and where we're changing the narratives of what's going to the schools. Our children stop looking at these pictures and these TV shows and the social media that's going to continue to feed them hate. Because you look at this one thing, the very minute somebody is killed, everybody shares that. They share that within a matter of seconds. But the minute somebody shares something about love and encouragement, you don't get but 2-3 shares on that. But every time somebody's killed, somebody's cussed out, somebody's slapped, somebody doing something that they ain't got no business doing, or we want to promote that. So all we're doing is promoting negative behavior, but we're never teaching that we should promote the positive behavior.
Let me play something here. Let me put something here based on what you just got through saying. Okay. Let me see here if I can get this going here.
Connected with Trooper Joshua Morris, who was sharing this great story with us, building this relationship with this young man in his area there that he patrols. So again, I'm sorry we lost you, but tell us a little bit more about why you think it's so important to connect with a young man like this.
I think it's very important. Me as an officer, my style of policing, I'm very intentional. I'm intentional about building relationships with the people that I police. I'm intentional about not being a stranger to the people I police. When they see my car, I don't want them to think fear. I want them to think help with safety is near. And I'm the type of officer, I don't wait for opportunity or positivity. I go out and create it. So when I met Rakir Allen that day, I just felt it was in my heart. The Spirit led me to just build that connection with him and to be there for him for the rest of his life.
Yeah, and so you showed up. He was calling you Steph Curry. He loves your skills on the court. You showed up with a special pair of Steph Curry shoes. There was some money in there for him as well. His mom talked about what an amazing blessing it was. And I know you said you want him, when he laces up those shoes, to know there's someone who cares about him.
Yes, absolutely. When he laces them up, I want him to understand that he has somebody that believes in him, somebody that's in his corner. And I want him to understand that he doesn't have to be a product of his environment and where he comes from. He's greater than that. And when he laces them up, he always has somebody on his side.
Well, Trooper Morris, we love this. We know the vast majority of law enforcement men and women are good folks like you. We love to see this, and you going the extra mile, just beyond serving your community, to really care about people and build these relationships. So thanks for letting us highlight your story. It's great to meet you.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Who heard about that?
That's right.
Who heard about that? Who heard about that?
Got a little 30 seconds on the news. That was it.
What? Wait a minute. Hold on. But where's the congratulations other than what, as you stated, what's being mentioned on the news? But why isn't everybody in on this here? This is what I'm saying. I'm like, wow. So I agree with you on that. We need to promote this. Again, this is why I do what I do, to show the world, to show people out there. Listen, we got some young men, older men, in between men. We got some fathers that's really doing it the right way. We got some good reports. Everybody is not like your boy Dante Wright. I did say that, because now I just can't stand the fact that I'm like, well, why are these people lying? Because this guy wasn't a good guy. This kid was not a good guy. If y'all, I'm gonna tell you, I can pull up his Facebook page. As a matter of fact, you know what? Give me a minute, because let's deal with the truth here. Let's deal with the truth. Let me see if I can get this here going.
And just as a side note, I noticed they tend to pull away. I'm more surprised they didn't edit that officer saying the Spirit or something spiritual. I can't believe they didn't edit
That's
that.
a great point. I heard him say that too.
They didn't edit that.
Yeah, that was a great point. Like this guy here. I'm not going to play no audio on it, but look at this here. This is Dante Wright now, the guy that was killed by the officer. Okay, but just look at this. Yeah. They ain't showing that on national TV, y'all.
And I'm gonna say this. This is why it's important for us as men to teach young men that they don't have to copycat behaviors that will get the wrong attention. You can't copycat the wrong behavior, because here's the reality is he thinks that's cool. I got a nephew that's in high school. He did something, copycat what he see his homeboys do. I know for a fact that's not what he does. That's not who he is, but he wants to look cool on social media. So he's acting out to be cool and accepted. But if it's now listen, when I was coming up, there was men in my neighborhood. There were men around me that were telling me things that wasn't cool to do. Did I hear all of it? No, I did not. Did I receive all of it? No, I did not. But it was still being taught to me. So that's what I think is lacking, because there's no way you take a gun on social media and you expect not to attract gangster attention. Because guess what? Real gangsters don't tote their guns on social media, just for the FYI. Real gangsters move in silence and they do what they do.
So now my understanding, I don't know the whole detail. I really don't, because I really wasn't going to try to follow this, but because I see certain things and I'm like, are you kidding me? Because once I see something to counter that, listen, let me say this here. I don't like injustice, period. I don't like no form of injustice. I don't care who it is. I don't care the color of your skin, where you come from, your nationality. I don't like injustice. But let's be truthful about this here, okay? Because now, if this is on social media, where was his father? Where was his father? Because if that was one of my boys, if that was one of my boys, my sons, guess what? I'm checking him. I am checking them. I don't care how old you are. I'm going to check you. I'm going to let you know. Now, we don't do that because guess what? You wearing my name, you representing me. So if I do something, go out there and do something crazy, not only am I like to say it this way. Every decision I make has a ripple effect. Every decision that this young man made had a ripple effect. Look what's going on. Some of it, I don't agree with it, but nevertheless, it is what it is. But they rather promote this than promote the police officer who is taking the time out of his schedule to spend time and to impact some young black boys in his life. Okay, but we ain't talking about that though. But again, we need to talk about getting back. We really need to get men back into our homes, and the men really need to stand up and be a man. Mr. Grant, you got something to say? Got something you want to add,
right, man? We just got to get more real men around, man. It's a shortage on them. They weren't taught, so it ain't their fault.
You know what? I remember that one time. Okay, I was a little boy, maybe 8, 9, maybe 10 years old, and my mother had sent me to the store to get a loaf of bread, and on the way back from the store, I was playing in the street and almost got hit by a car. So where I was located at, that there was a man that was on the 3rd floor of the apartment building, saw me. And he came down them stairs, got a hold of me, tore my behind up, and then took me home because he knew my parents. Took me home, told my parents what I did, and then I got another whipping. Where's that now? Right now, we got to wear this, don't touch my child.
You can't. Jail.
Absolutely.
You be under the jail.
Huh?
Yeah,
You be under the jail.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Let me say this, though.
Yeah, come on.
We can do that. We can still do that in a different way. If we move the censor barriers, because guess what? If your neighbor came to you and say, listen, your son or daughter was acting up like this, most parents, you don't tell me how to raise my kid.
Right,
then
right,
you don't tell me
right.
But back then, the parents had an open mind that, listen, you're just trying to help me raise this child and let them not get to a level. But now too many parents, and I know somebody gonna hate me, too many parents want to be their kid's best friend.
Want to be their best friend.
I ain't trying to be your best friend. I'm trying to get you to a place and a point where the Bible says to train you up. Because once you reach that level of adult and you making your own decisions, I need to make sure you know everything you need to know.
Absolutely. Now, when I made that, now, of course, I'm talking about what, the 60s, the late 60s, maybe early 70s.
Don't tell your age, bro. You finna tell it.
Of course, times have changed. But my point is this, though. If I see some young men in front of my house or even anywhere around me doing something that they should not be having the business or something that I feel is detrimental to their life, I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
I will say something to them.
And if I could add just one thing, and I know he's not on the show, but I want to say salute to QJ because as a father, his son was struggling. And he turned around and daily went to his set with his son to make sure while he was doing the schooling from home, he made sure that his son was staying focused. Is that not right, Wallace?
That's it.
Yeah. I was just going to say
that's what daddy's got to do, bro. We got to get back to the place where we're doing things like that. Whatever it's going to take to get our kids back on track, that's what we got to do, man.
Got to get engaged. Got to get engaged.
Shout out to you, Q.
Can't always be about just, you paying the bills, you providing a roof over the head, or, oh man, I got my own troubles, I got my own life, own worries, whatever, man. No, if you're responsible for a child coming into this life, whether or not it's a son or a daughter, you need to be engaged in their life. Okay, so since we're on the subject about young men, especially, there is another case that I'm very, very familiar with that caught my attention, and I don't know if you guys are aware of this. Let me see if I got him here. As a matter of fact, oh God, I apologize to y'all. I should have labeled this a little bit better here, but I want to play this here. Let me see. because I got a video here that this young man here, he had just got out of, I guess, detention. Oh my God, where is his? Oh yeah, here you go. I don't know if y'all seen this here.
The person who was killed in a deadly shootout at a drive-through ATM in Kendall over the weekend, and he was only 16 years old. Police believe that teen and another person were trying to rob the victim, who was also armed and shot back.
And they're still looking for that third person who they say should be considered armed and dangerous. Local 10's Laren Livingston, live with more on this. Laren.
And you know, this happened at a bank. Banks typically have surveillance cameras. There's likely a surveillance camera on that ATM that this person who was shot, who was also involved in this, was using at the time. Hopefully that information, along with viewer tips and information, will help police find the other person that they say that they are now looking for.
Even after Miami-Dade police set up a perimeter, brought in their chopper, that second suspect is still on the run. Today, Crime Stoppers announcing a reward up to $5,000 for any information that could change that. Police also identified the suspect who was killed.
Now, I'm going to say this. This really touched my heart. This really, really touched my heart. I'm going to let it finish playing out, and I'll tell you why. I was really moved by this story here.
Namaike Clark, just 16 years old.
We just went and got my son out today, and I'm looking forward for him to do good.
My name is Namaike Clark. I just came home. I did 20 months. I appreciate them for coming to get me, and I'm trying to get a job so I can take care of my mama. I want to be a firefighter.
That video was posted on February 5th to social media by the Circle of Brotherhood, an organization focused on youth mentorship, crime prevention, and community service. Days after that video was posted, days after Clark reportedly was released from juvenile custody, police say he went up to a man in a white pickup truck who just pulled up to the drive-through ATM at this BB&T bank near Southwest 88th and 137th Avenue. Police say the driver of that pickup, later spotted covered with blood, was carrying a gun. Words were exchanged. Moments later, so were gunshots. The driver was hit in the chest and rushed to the hospital. Clark was pronounced dead on scene.
Now, every time I see videos like this, I'm going to tell you, I'm always asking, where is the father?
Yeah.
Where is the father? And to hear this young man, he already spent 20 months in detention. 20 months in detention. Get out. His mother is there. And if you heard what she said, I hope he do good. And then days later, she has to bury him. That was really troubling to me. That really pricked at my heart. And I'm like, because again, apparently now he was connected with an organization that assists or help with juvenile people, detentees, or whatever the correct word is.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, but they didn't have a chance enough to really mentor this young man. So then the question is, then what's going on in the juvenile detention center? Is there any form of mentorship going on in there? I don't know, because I ain't never been there, but I don't know. You know, maybe somebody might know, somebody that's watching may know, but that really bothered me. And I'm gonna remind you now, I went to his Facebook page, and when I saw there was one video that he only had two that was posted on his Facebook page, but one that was there, it had him where he was sitting in, you can tell he was in a detention room, him and another young man, and they making gun signs and all this stuff. And then mind you, now he was much younger. He had to be at least about maybe 7th, 8th grade. Okay, on this here. So it was already embedded in him. Okay, but so let me give them a question, because we're going to have to wrap this up. What can we do? What do you all suggest? I want each one of you to take a few minutes just to share with you had the opportunity to implement something. What would that something be, where is that we can reach our young men, where our young men don't end up on the streets like this here, whereas they're end up being killed and robbing and whatever. I got a whole bunch of videos I can show you guys I mean, it's just shocking. We got to do something, man. We got to do something. But let's start with you, Mr. Grant. What would you like to see happen if we can if we can make a difference in these young men's life?
I think it starts with the generation that we in right now. It's so cool to be gangster that it's being idolized, and the truth ain't being told on that. The
Wow.
gangsters that I knew didn't want to be gangsters. It was just something they had to do.
Right.
These kids nowadays, you can buy a pistol for $40-$50, and after that, that make you made?
Wow.
It's just not. It's going too far.
Wow.
My suggestion would be cut the TVs off and cut the radio off.
I ain't mad at that.
That's all you got.
I'm not mad at that.
I'm gonna tell you something. Most of my children are grown now and out of the house, but they didn't watch a lot of television in my house. They just didn't. It was all about books, or they hung out amongst themselves or whatever. But television, we got TVs here now. They hardly come on. So that's a great point, Mr. Grant. What about you, Mr. Smith? What would you like to see happen? Or what would your suggestion
previously
be?
Before COVID, myself and a mutual friend of mine named Mr. Mizell, we worked for the health department, and with the help of Men's Network, we would do group meetings from anybody 13 was the youngest age, and just that real mentorship. And what's funny, it's gone so far past helping with resumes and taking
good.
to go get jobs. It's gone so far past that. It's now it's real mentorship, real conversations. I find myself still being an alien of sorts. I had a very devoted dad. I have the estranged relationship with my mom, but I have a very devoted dad. So I had that influence, and I was very much appreciative for that. But man, I still find it funny that the Westerns I would beg him to turn are the same Westerns I'm watching right now. So, but we have to catch them younger. We have to really have these conversations. And also, just as a segue, I won't take up too much time, is if we don't catch them younger, then you put the child in a home to where, depending on the mother, if she's downing the dad and saying he's not a man, or he's not this, or he's not that, the very last thing that young man wants to be is a man.
Is a man. That's a good point.
That's the very last thing he wants
point.
to be. Not only because his mom didn't like it, but mom won't love me if I become this. And that's what we have to try to stop.
That's powerful, man. That is so powerful. To your point, I was thinking when you're talking about the mentorship, you and the gentleman. I think one of the issues that one of the biggest mistake that school system made, and that was to take trade learning out of high
That's
school.
right. I was just talking about that. That's right.
That was one of the biggest mistakes that I feel that they made, because there are two aspects that were happening then. They were young men and women were learning a craft, something that they can go and work on, whether or not it was small engines, whether or not it was carpentry, which is what kept me in school. I'm going to be straight up. Whether or not it was home economics, being a beautician, drafting, architect, whatever, they took those trades out of school. They rather promote basketball and football and band more so than a person having something, a young man or a young woman having a trade that they can learn in school and go and make a living with, and then on the other side of that is the fact that they have someone, a teacher, whoever it is, male or female, they can look to as a mentor, especially if they are engaged in their life. And I think that's one of the biggest mistakes. We can get back to that and have that done. I think we can make some changes here. Come on, Mr. Music, what you got to say to it, bro?
I think we need to go back to the concept of the village. Too often time we're too divided as people to have a real effect. Some of these platforms are created just to promote one person or one person's agenda or one team's agenda, when ultimately it should be about everybody coming together so that we can have this ultimate effect. Because just like that young man, 16 years old, lost his life, there was a young lady here in St. Pete. She was caught in the crossfire in a drive-by shooting, gunned down in a car. And she was, I think, 21, 22-ish maybe. Y'all correct me if I'm wrong about her age. She was young. And it's like at some point, the behavior has to change. The people you connect to, the people that you're with, if you know for a fact that they're involved in some illegal activity, you got to think what comes into that. The Bible talks about that all the time. You know what I'm saying? You live by the sword, you die by the sword. If that's your way, and if we're not around to put these type of things in their ear, a lot of times there's 30-year-olds who know nothing talking to the 20, 22, 19, 18. But when I was up, there was older people around me giving me nuggets, giving me wisdom, giving me knowledge, teaching me things that's not being done today. You got a circle of friends, everybody going to the same spot, doing the same thing, looking for the same glamour, looking for the same hairstyles, looking for the quick money. They're not trying to work. So where is the village that's raising us up? Where's the village? The village got to come back together. Put your differences aside. Forgive what you need to forgive. Whatever happened 30 years ago, don't let that deteriorate the fact, because a lot of times it's little things that's hindering people from staying connected together and making a big difference. And I think the village just got to come back together. Whatever your differences was, whatever your differences is, squash them and let's come together so that these young people can have something to hold on to and to learn from.
You know, when you were talking there, this is what I said to myself. We got young folks now. They think they're as grown as you. And they tell you real quick, oh, you can't tell me, oh, you ain't my mama, you ain't my daddy.
Yeah.
Well, wait a minute, hold on.
You can thank Google for that.
Yeah.
You can thank Google for that.
Okay, so a question came to me. What advice would you give single mothers with children with a man that refuses to be in their lives, but is raising someone else's children? How can we as women raise them to be men? Ooh. Who wants to take that one on?
I'll let y'all go first.
I'm sorry, I missed that one. I missed it in the comment. I apologize. What advice would you give single mothers with children with a man that refuses to be in their lives, but is raising someone else's children? How can we as women raise them? No, I'm going to answer the last one. No, you can't raise them to be a man.
You cannot.
You can't.
A woman can't do that.
You were not designed with the characteristics and with the mental thought process to raise your son to be a man. Now, well, let me let the guest answer that. Because I know I can respond to it, but I want to hear what you guys have to say.
And I only laugh because I felt you, bro. I felt you. I felt you. I felt you. You was about to dive in. I felt you. Yes,
thank you for that question, Miss Brown. Thank you very much. Thank you for that question. So what
you want it? Dub, you want to take that one? You want to take that first?
You know what? I don't know that. I agree with Mr. Nelson. I don't think that you could putting the positive, the right people around him, the right men around him could encourage him to definitely do that. You know, it's a very deep question. I am a father and a stepfather. It really is. It's a very deep question. I will say, like I said, putting the right people around that young man could help. I really would like to address the fact in the question. I hate that I feel like I would give the man the benefit of the doubt. But the word she uses is refuses. I'd like to hope that a conversation could be had to hopefully clean that up.
That's good.
I had to learn. Again, my dad would say the things that happen between Wallace and your mom, his Wallace, has nothing to do with Lil Wallace and your mom.
Wow.
So you have to grow up and you think to yourself, what type of person is this gonna be? But I'm not going to tell you the negative that was done to me, and I can't imagine how hard that was for him. I'm not going to tell you that. If you grow up and you realize there's some things you don't like, then we'll talk about it then. So I hope that communication could be had first. Perhaps a sit down, and if that doesn't work, because like we all know, it's two sides to every story.
That's
Yeah.
good thoughts. Good thoughts. Who wants to take it next?
I mean, I think it's cause and effect for every action. And, you know, it's a reaction. I myself am in a situation right now with my baby mama that it's not the greatest, but
Okay.
to some people they may not understand it. I know what it is. She knows what it is. One day maybe we'll patch that up. But that topic there is real deep, man. I feel like whoever that is, they only give us
I'm
half the
waiting.
surface of
I'm waiting. I'm
Yeah,
waiting. I'm
listen,
waiting.
listen.
I'm waiting. I'm trying to let y'all get there. I'm waiting.
I'm not gonna go that
when-
deep.
No, yeah, I can't go that deep on that one. I have to
Y'all
call
got
you
to.
after.
You
Yeah,
got
I'm not
to.
gonna
They
go that
put it
deep.
out
No.
there. He said
No,
it earlier.
no, I'm
He
not
said
going
it
that deep.
earlier.
Hey, okay, but listen. We might have to. Okay. Come on,
2 seconds.
Brad.
I promise.
Come on.
Listen.
Yeah.
Let's
yeah.
talk about product.
Uh-huh.
Wallace Smith is known to
Wait a
those
minute.
in our. Don't do it. Don't do it.
What you about to say?
I'm about to say it. That's my baby daddy.
All right.
That's my baby daddy. Listen, let's talk about mentality. Let's talk about maturing.
Wow. Come on.
Let's talk about it. We gotta make this normal. When you have two men that are involved with raising the same child, they gotta be on the same page. If they're not on the same page, it's never gonna be there. And to the young lady, I know that's not your question, but I'm gonna show you something what I'm talking about. Mentality wise, he's raising somebody else's children. But do you know why either communication between you and him, maybe the breakup was so bad, it was so horrible that he wants to be involved with his kids, but he's afraid to have a conversation that you're going to give him the freedom to be the father he needs to be for his kids. Because there's no way, and let me help somebody, there's no way a man is raising other children and he's not capable of raising his own. There's no way. What's lacking is communication. I said 2 seconds. That's my 2 seconds. I'm a chill. I got more, but I know you got to go, bro. I'm chilling. I'm chilling.
We have another question here. What if you are a single mom of girls with no father figure? Now, what I would follow a follow-up question to that: why is there not a father figure in their life? Because they have a father, but apparently he's not there. And I guess I would ask the question as to why. What's the reason?
Imagery. People want to make a father figure be what they want a father figure to be. The father figure is their father. The father figure is what's in front of them. Stop trying to have a Cliff Huxtable raise your kids. Take who's there and let them pour into them. Because Cliff Huxtable was on a TV show. And that's the big problem, is a lot of women are looking for the narrative that was written out for a man to be perfect. Men aren't perfect. We mess up. We're going to say something, we're going to do something that's in error. But that does not change the fact that a father can't show love, he can't show compassion, he can't show understanding, and he can't pour into his kids. You have to change your narrative of what you call a father figure. Because if there's somebody active in their life, that's their father figure. I promise I'm ready. Let's go. Get these questions hot.
Listen, Aaron's neighbors are at his door with glass. They have a contribution plate outside. He's just on fire today.
Well, okay, so let me take a shot at this question. What if you're a single mom of girls with no father figure? And I'm gonna have to agree, there is a father figure. But it's depending on who you're referring to, how you're looking at it. But I would say to you, though, and that's kind of like a question I would need to ask my wife, to tell you the truth. And if I had her on here, she'd probably the best answer that, because she had to do it until Mr. Right came along, which is yours truly. And well, you know what? This is what I would say, since I mentioned about my wife. You as a mother, even if there's no father figure there, you still be the woman that you need to be in front of your girls. What you do is you instill in them the respect that they need to have for themselves. You instill in them how they should conduct themselves, the woman that they need to be to better provide, I would say, for themselves. And what you don't do is you don't tear down their father. Don't ever say anything negative about him. Don't rip him or down him, because then what you do is that I'm going to say it this way. If you're constantly tearing down their father, or if you're saying negative things to them or in their presence about their father, then what happens with them is that they will grow up and despise any man that will come their way that wants to resemble or that can be that father figure to them. Or they will just come up with the mindset, well, I don't need a man because a man wasn't good to my mother, so I know they ain't gonna be good to me. What I need a husband for, what I need this for, what I need that for. So I guess just a matter of that, whatever you do, you be the woman that you should be, a woman of integrity, a woman of stature, a woman of strength, not a strong woman, but a woman of strength in the presence of your girls. So I hope that, I don't know, somebody else may have an answer to that, but that's the best way I can respond to that. That's my answer on that.
I don't think it could have been said any better.
Thank you. Okay. She responded. Okay, got it. Yeah, just be the woman in their presence. And what you don't want to do, you don't want to tear the man down, period. Because if you do that in front of them, especially, I don't know their ages exactly, but if you're constantly doing that in front of them, they will grow up with that same mindset. What happened, babe? Okay, did I miss another question here? Yeah. Okay. No, that's not it. Okay, as men looking at the generation coming up, what would be your best advice? Yeah, I want to take one of that because I can go on, bro. So who wants to take it? As men looking at the generation coming up, what would be your best? I'm gonna give my guest the opportunity to answer that. Anybody?
I think for me, it would be finding the right example to look towards. I think through time and through so many things that have happened, with the rate of babies being born to parents going down, they hadn't experienced enough to give the child anything. So I used to say to Aaron all the time, we lost the big mama. So there is no big mama. Big mama 36.
Wow.
She ain't learned nothing herself. She doesn't have anything to give. But especially for men, it would be finding the right person to listen to. Even at the subheading first, about my father told me one thing about a man. He says a few words and he means them. Because the more he talks, the more it shows a willingness to negotiate. That was it. That's it. That's serious enough. It's only 3 or 4 words in that sentence. There's nothing else that needs to be said. So it will be finding the right person to look at, because as he also would say, it's old fools and it's young fools, Wallace.
Your father was a wise man. Yeah. Who's next? Who else wanted to take a shot at this question here?
You got some, Kev? I was gonna let Kev go before me.
I mean, I just, it's said before, you got to catch them young and you got to be in their head. And I don't think relationships with God is being pushed no more. I mean, we just out here. Kids doing what they do.
Go ahead, Aaron.
No. You might say what I was finna say. So I mean, I'm trying not to get too more riled up. I need to calm down a little bit. But go ahead, bro. Go ahead. You good? Go ahead.
No, but you're the guest, man. I want to go ahead. They want to hear from you. Go ahead. they hear from me every week, man.
I'm gonna say it like this, and I can't help but this is how God has shown me what the problem is that as they're saying, what's the best advice for this generation? This generation is stuck on perfect. Because let's think about what we're looking at. We're looking at those who change their body. They go have surgery instead of losing weight or being comfortable with who they are. They're so stuck on perfect. So they're just as to what Wallace was saying, find the right one. And even when they find the right one, if they hear anything or see anything that makes him a flaw or makes her a flaw, then they stop taking the advice from him. What they've learned is still earned because they learned through life lessons, as Kelvin was talking about earlier. I've learned and became a man through life experiences. Man, I done fell so hard sometimes. I still got scars on my knees and on my elbows from trying to pick myself up. But guess what? But because I have situations that make somebody look at me as a past, they say, well, I can't really take no advice from this cat. I can't really listen to him. But then again, you can, because if you don't want to fall, listen to somebody who already has fallen. So stop looking for the perfection and listen to the lesson.
You know what? I'm not even going to say it's a perfection as much as a generation of instant gratification.
Yep. There you go. There you go. I take that.
So to have to put the work in now is just it's just too foreign.
Yeah.
Right. Well, I'm going to respond with 2 words, and that is don't compromise. Don't compromise. Wow. You don't have to settle. And believe it or not, there are some good men out there. They're looking for good women because they might be saying the same thing. Dang, man, all the women want to act like, this and that there. They want to be Cardi B's and what's that, Megan Thee Stallion, whatever her name is. Why?
Megan Thee Stallion.
That might be the mindset of some good men. They just feel what they have been exposed to. But I would say to you women who are looking for men, who are desiring a man to be with a man in your life. You want a man that is a man who understands that he is a man first. And I was hearing the fact several times that my brother Aaron had mentioned, we make mistakes. We make mistakes. We are not exempt from using whiteout. We are not exempt from using backspace. We are not exempt from using the eraser. We are not exempt from balling up the paper and throwing away and getting a new one and starting it over again. Yes, we make mistakes. And I think that the point which I hope has been made tonight from all of the men that is on this platform, okay, that we've had to learn a lot of things on our own as we have gone forth and allow life to develop our manhood. There's no question about it. But the key thing that, again, I'm going to your point, which you missed, which you made, Mr. Aaron. Listen, and also Mr. Smith, let's stop looking for the perfect man. Let's stop that. Let's stop that, because we all have flaws. We all have flaws. But the question is, are we willing to do what is necessary in order to be a better man, especially if you're the woman that I want to spend the rest of my life with? Are you willing to be a better woman if you are the woman, if this man is the man that you're the woman who wants to spend the rest of his life with this woman? Don't compromise. At the end of the day, do not compromise. Just wait. Just be patient. And you know something? Somebody's going to hear you. Somebody's going to see you. Somebody's going to be in your way. I'm getting some feedback here. But anyway, make sure we got any more questions. Thank you all from all of those that are watching on Facebook. Thank you so much. So anyway, any final thoughts?
No, I'm so thankful for the opportunity, and I definitely enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Definitely.
Thank you. Thank you. What you got to say? What's the last words, Mr. Aaron? Because we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna close this thing out, man. We're gonna close this thing. I pray that we've said something to be very helpful
Absolutely.
to all of
Absolutely.
our fellow listeners, men and women. On top of that, there's so much that we could have said and gone deep into. But nevertheless, though, what you got to say, Mr. Aaron, on the final words, man?
April 29th, episode 2 for Four Fellas.
Come
then May 6th is the Mother's Day special. I'm looking forward to that one, especially excited about the May 6th Mother's Day special.
Right.
We're going to salute some of the mothers in our local area. Four Fellas is a new podcast, and we have information that'll be shared with the post after the show. So keep being tuned and look out for us and everything you heard, the commentary here from myself, Kelvin, and Wallace. And also we missing our brother Quentin. QJ with your big head self. You know
I
what
wish
I'm saying?
he
We
was
miss
here,
you, bro.
man.
Yeah, we miss you. You know I had to get him. Because when you see it later, he gonna talk trash.
Yeah.
But just overall people, man, you know what I'm saying? It's a lot of good men out here, man. Don't give up on these men. They've been through the fire, they've been through the storm, but they still good men out here, man. And bro, we appreciate you for the opportunity to be on the show with you tonight, man. The Father's Note is definitely on my every Sunday, 7:30. Yes, sir. Let's
we
go.
on it, man. We on it. We
Yes,
on
sir.
it.
Yes,
we
sir.
on it.
Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
yeah. But hey, again, thank you all for being a part. Go ahead, Mr. Smith. I'm sorry, sir.
You definitely gained a fan, brother. I look forward to tuning in. I wouldn't have known. I'm
But
certainly.
thank you. Thank you. No, we're here to really help, and we want to really push the narrative. I gotta steal that, bro. I am a man first. That's gonna. I'm gonna put that on the t-shirt. You saw my t-shirt. I'm putting that on the t-shirt. I'm telling you right now. I'm gonna put that on the t-shirt.
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
Yeah. And don't worry, I give you props, man. I give you props. I ain't gonna take your props from you, but I gotta put that on the t-shirt, man.
Hey, listen.
I am a man first.
Like I said earlier, I done borrowed a few from you, so it's about time. It's about time.
All right, cool. Hey guys, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you so much for being a part. And we're going to hook up again. Absolutely.
Yes,
we're
sir.
going to definitely hook up again. And I'm going to definitely continue to promote you all on this channel. And as soon as I have some dates and can let people know how to get in touch with you. Let me see here. I just got a comment here. Let's see here. Black America is all about compliance and disarming the threat of confrontation. It's time we start teaching and talking to our young black men about complying with the lawful order. It may save a life and a family a whole lot of grief. Lay your ego down and live to see another day. Absolutely. Please live. A modern day black wise man once said, choose your battles wisely. Then he said calmly, that's why I'm still here to tell the story. He calls me beloved.
Wow, that's powerful.
I can talk on that as well. But I'm going to say this and then I'm going to be done. We cannot glorify wrong. We just can't do it. We cannot justify wrong. And I can tell you now, you can go and watch my video on YouTube, My Two Sons, the Police, the Myth. And in that video, it tells about the experience that my sons had, my two youngest sons had, the encounter that they had with police officers. I'm talking about with guns drawn and everything. But yet they were able, because they heard the voice of what I spoke into their lives, how to carry themselves, how to conduct themselves when it comes down to law enforcement. Guess what? I have not visited a funeral. My sons are with me today. What they went through, that's over and done with, and they're going on with their lives. You cannot win. I say it all the time. You cannot win with the police out there in the streets. You're not going to win. So if you want to hear from me, the best thing for you to do is to comply. What's the harm? Just because you're getting delayed 30 minutes, an hour or so, the fact of the matter, your life could end and then you just delayed, period. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
if you know what I mean. Because if you want to fight them, you don't fight the police in the streets. You fight them in the court system.
Absolutely.
You fight them in the court system. That's where if you want to win. But at the end of the day, you can't be dirty. You can't ride. Let me just take a little moment here, and let me say this here to all of you all that are listening. I teach my sons, make sure that your brake lights are working. Make sure that your tail lights are working. Make sure that your signals are working. Make sure that even if you have your driver's license and not your driver's license, but your registration and insurance card, not in the glove compartment, not on the armrest, but on the sun visor, even if you have to pin it up there, clothespin or whatever, that way you're not doing an excess reaching. I have made sure that as a father, I have instilled everything in my sons as far as how to live and survive out there. But when you're dirty, when you're riding with an expired tag, you're asking to get pulled over. If you're riding with no brake lights, no lights on your car, come on, let's be real about it now. Let's not fake this here. We need to deal with the truth. Okay, I'm not going to hold y'all, but I just got to put that out there because if you take what's necessary, if you do what is necessary, yeah, you can survive, but don't reach. I appreciate that, Mr. Clover. I appreciate that what you said, okay? But it's all about how you can't have no ego. You cannot have an ego. So anyway, gentlemen, thank you so much. Until next time, we will be talking, man, okay? God bless you, man. Have a good night.
Peace out.
And I want to say to all of my listeners on Facebook and also YouTube, thank you so much for your support. Don't forget that we do have a YouTube channel here on the Father's Note. We ask that you subscribe and like, comment, leave your comments. We'll certainly respond to you. So you may be asking, well, why do you want me to subscribe? The reason that I'm asking you to subscribe, that is to promote the message. If you agree, if you like the message that we have here on this platform, your subscription, your likes and your comments would definitely continue to support it. And we need your support. We have to change the narrative that's out there that, men are done or men are no good. That's not true. That is not true. We have some great men out there. And I've had several on this show, and you've heard their stories, you heard their ups, you heard their downs, and we're all in this together. We are all in this together. My whole desire is that the world know that every man, such as myself, we have a loud voice as well. And the more that men that we get to speak the same thing, the louder our voice will become. The louder our voice will become. So we're going to continue to push this here. We're going to continue to speak into this here. We really want to encourage many men, as many men as we can, even women. We are hoping that you're learning and something from our show, that you're understanding the role of a man, even in your capacity as a woman. And I will be the first to say, listen, we need your support. We need you as well. But the most important thing we need from you, which would be very helpful, even if you have a husband or boyfriend or whatever, continue to give him affirmation. Give your sons affirmation. Speak affirmation in their life, okay? They don't have to go down the road in which a lot of our young men have gone. They don't have to do that, okay? So we'll do whatever is necessary that you feel that you need to do, but let's make a change, and let's remember every man that you see, that he is a man first. So with that, hey, we say we love you, and we thank you so much for your support, and we're going to say good night to you. Everybody have a great night.